Hello and welcome back, to another video. First thing I'd like to say is I am very thankful for everyone that watched my last recovery ride video and that appreciated, finger quote, the new format. And I was curious as to what exactly was the new format, what was the thing that you liked. So if you can make a comment down below as to what was different about that video to other videos, because in fact I've been doing videos like that all along. But there must have been something different, a different recipe, a different protocol, something that you liked. So if you could tell me what that was, I would like to continue to provide that content to you. So we're out again on another recovery ride, and 70 degrees out. I believe it's 6 degrees Celsius on a very easy ride, because yesterday I did 111 miles with 9,000 feet of climbing, and the headline was for that ride that I was accompanying Isaac on his first century. Got a car back here. And that is a great accomplishment for the individual rider. But then for me, as a coach, mentor, friend, those are some of my best days, and I love doing that. And in fact, we rode with another gentleman who I was with on his first century, Memo. So Memo and Isaac, I've been present for both of their first centuries. Memo was back in December of 2022, so almost 2 years now for his first century, and he's blossomed into a great rider, and that's amazing to see. One of the questions I got was, do I often wear dark colored jerseys? And my initial response was yes. My shop colors are black, pink, and white. So today, in honor of that that commenter, I am wearing white. So let's talk about this for a little bit. I think for safety reasons, if you feel that you are going to be more conspicuous to motorists, then please wear light colored clothing. In fact, when I do my, things that I may go into the night or through the night, there's a lot of times that I will wear, there's a yellow long sleeve jersey that I like to wear because, one, it has long sleeves, so I don't have to worry about sun protection on my arms, because skin cancer is a thing. But also, it has pretty good pockets, and so I can stuff them full of stuff. But it does give me some, maybe false, sense of security that I'm wearing a yellow jersey, like a high-vis yellow jersey. So I don't know, maybe it does work. So you have to do you, whatever you feel comfortable with. I won't advocate one way or the other. This particular jersey is also made with black as the base color and pink stripes and pink logos. So I wear them both interchangeably. Anyway, I'd like to hear your comments down below. What do you think? Tony Hawk lives up there. Let's talk about memories of my first century. I lived in a town called Santee, and the locals will know where that is. It used to be Booneyville. It's grown a lot in the last 20 years, or 30 years for that matter, when I used to live there. And there used to be a group I used to ride with. And on Saturdays, the average route was between, 50 to 60 miles. So I lived about 25 miles from the start. So one day I decided I was going to ride to the ride. And that meant 25 to get there, 50 with the group, and 25 to get back. So 100 miles, 160K. Well, I cannot tell you how sick I got the second or third day. I caught a cold. And I've since learned that the reason I got that cold was because I was underfueled. And since I wasn't taking in enough fuel and protein after 4 or 5 hours, well, my immune system was greatly suppressed, and then I had some issues. Last time we went south once we hit the coast from my inland area. Today we are going north. So we have the freeway, so we have the coastline on our left. So I had three points on my previous video talking about what 3 things I was going to do to help Isaac get his first century done. The first one was ego. It was just to kind of let him know, hey, it's okay if you get dropped. It's okay if the group goes up the road. You don't have to worry about that. Just let them do their thing, and eventually you'll reel them in. So it just depends on what kind of, what are your goals for that particular event. And so when you think about it, really the thing is going easy at the very beginning. And in fact, that's what he said when he was ripping our legs off on the last 13 to 15 miles of the event. He was like, I just kept hearing George in my head saying, go easy, go easy, go easy. So then the KOM was at mile 80 something, 80, 81, and he was ready, and he had held back for so long that he was able to just uncork it and go hard, he said. So that was great. And then from there, like I said, the last, 15, 20 miles, Jesus, he was ripping our legs off. So good on you, Isaac. Today's a recovery day, so of course I'm going to get passed all day long. And that's where that ego thing that I was talking about with Isaac, or Memo, in my case, I felt it. I was like, I can usually ride with those guys. What's wrong? So for me, it wasn't that I needed to ease up on the pace. I was just surprised that my pace couldn't keep up with that. All right, so let's see if we can find a table. And of course, it being California, we want to sit outside. So let's see. All right, there's Honey's. Looks like there's some tables. We'll give this a shot. Well, we are at Honey's, and Honey's is a place I ate. I mean, I haven't eaten here for a very long time, but I thought, why not give this place a shot? Because outside table, music is not that loud, so sorry about the camera. It's the table's on a slant. I tried to put a little thing there underneath. Let me see. So that's about as good as I'm going to get it. All right, so what I wanted to talk about is that I wanted to help Isaac get through his first century, but honestly, he didn't need any help. He was just riding so strong. But the first point that I mentioned earlier in an earlier clip is that, the ego, right? Just keeping everything in check and not going with the group, the lead group, or even just going with the pace, because there's so many people. I think there was over 100 people, I'm not sure. But what it was for me, the ego portion, wasn't that I said to myself, oh, I could be up there with them. Let me settle back. Let me take it down a notch, because I'll catch them later. I'll reel them in later. In fact, what it was for me was like, oh my God, I'm getting dropped and I can't keep the pace. And so for me, it was the other end of the ego spectrum. While I thought I was going to help Isaac keep his ego in check, in fact, I had to keep my ego in check. But there was nothing I could do about it. It wasn't like, oh, I can go harder and catch them and get with that group. So one of the stops that they made was like at mile 20 something, maybe 30 something. I don't know what mileage things were, because I rode to the start, so my mileage was off. But what happened was I just couldn't keep the pace of both Memo. Wow, that was fast. Quite literally. No, you're good. But oh my God, that was fast. Thank you so much.
And this is the ranch. That's the
ranch and blue cheese. Thank you. Well, I mean, I literally just sat down, and there's my club sandwich. So we're about to eat, and we just don't have. I didn't have enough time to talk about stuff, so we still got to talk about number 3. And ego is number 1, pacing is number 2, and then number 3, nutrition. So we still need to talk about that. But with that cue, we're getting ready to eat. Okay, see you later. Oh, wait a minute. Let me give you guys a close-up of that bad boy. Look at that. Turkey club is now in my belly, and brings up the point of nutrition. So both Memo and Isaac are using REV Energy as their fueling source. Let me see if I can bring this down just a little bit. And they've both been happy with the results. They've both been happy with the fact that there's no flavor and they can add whatever they want to it, or add REV Energy to whatever they're using. And I believe they're using Element as their fueling source, as their electrolyte source. So, and then it was funny. One of the ways, and you should gauge this for yourself. So one of the ways that I know that I have fueled properly is last climb of the day, I feel really good. I don't feel like I'm bonking, or my legs don't have any energy left and stuff like that. But another way you can gauge if you have been fueling properly during your 2-hour thing, 4-hour thing, 6-hour thing. They had given out tickets, these like little coupons, I guess, $10 towards the purchase of something. They both bought sandwiches, Memo and Isaac, and we all sat down. And they both said, I'm not really that hungry. And that, believe it or not, that is a very easy way to know if you've been fueling right during your event. If you don't come home raiding your fridge or your pantry because you're starving, then you fueled adequately. you'll have to gauge on what scale of adequacy you're at, you know. So was I optimum, or was I, just barely enough? But that's just a telltale sign. You get home and you're like, oh, I can carry on with my day. I don't need to sit here and gorge myself with food because I'm starving, and I left it all out there, which is a good thing, sure, that you worked hard and you trained hard and you raced hard, but that's one good way to check. And so the three of us sat there and we're like, well, we got these coupons, so we might as well eat. So, and I had a Cuban sandwich, so my folks from Florida, sandwich cubano, and it was actually pretty good, so it had the mustard, it had all that stuff that you know of a Cuban sandwich. Maybe I'll list the ingredients later for the rest of you. So basically we had three things to talk about. We had ego, we had pacing, and then lastly we had nutrition. On the pacing thing, I think I said it before. I mean, I thought I was going to pace them up climbs and keep them in a conservative zone, but that plan kind of got all screwed up over time. But yeah, Isaac was just riding with. He said to me that he was still holding back, but God, he looked incredible. So that was great to see. And so that was a successful century for Isaac. I believe their scheduled ride was 100 miles with 7,500 feet. So that's a very, very good first century. Oh, and by the way, there was this 13-year-old boy, and I hope I have some footage of him. I wanted to take some pictures and some video, but it was just so frenetic at times. But yeah, he was a 13-year-old boy on a nice Basso Diamante, which is their top-end all-purpose bike. So not so much a climbing bike, and it's definitely not their aero bike. So he was on a nice bike and all kitted out, really cute. I mean, this 13-year-old boy getting his. That was his first century too, by the way. That was his first century. So if you see a lot of commotion, it's because they're closing up the place, and it's 2 p.m. So I need to get back on the bike. And I did want to talk about a couple of other things. We'll see if I can fit those in. I don't want this video to get too long, and if anything, maybe what I'll do is I'll just add it to another video. So I think I'm about 30 miles in, and now I need to head back towards home. I think I'm about 10 miles from home, maybe a little more. Just depends on which inland route I decide to take. Off for now.